There is something happening at your kitchen table right now that you cannot see. Not tonight, maybe, but it happened at your kitchen table when you were small, and it is still shaping every financial decision you make today. I want you to think back. Think back to the first time you heard your parents talk about money. What were the words? What was the tone? What did their faces look like? Most people, when they sit with that memory, feel something uncomfortable. Because most of us did not grow up in homes where money was spoken about with peace. We grew up in homes where money was spoken about with worry, or not spoken about at all. And both of those things left a mark. Here is what I need you to understand before we go any further. Jewish mothers knew something that most parents today have never been taught. They knew that the words a child hears about money before the age of 7 become the walls of that child's financial life. Not the ceiling, the walls, the structure itself. And they guarded what came out of their mouths around their children with the same care they gave to setting the Shabbat table. This is not about positive thinking. This is not about affirmations on a mirror. This is about a specific, practiced, ancient household rule about language and children and the flow of provision. And today I am going to tell you the 5 things Jewish mothers never said to their children about money, and what they said instead, because what they refused to say is just as important as what they chose to say. My grandmother had 7 children. 7 children in a small apartment with 1 income in a neighborhood where nobody had very much. And not once, not a single time that I can remember or that my mother ever described, did my grandmother say to those children, "We can't afford it." I asked my mother about this once when I was already grown. I said, "How did she do that? We know there were times she was stretched thin. How did she never say those words?" And my mother looked at me and said, "She didn't lie to us. She protected the channel." I didn't fully understand that then. I understand it now completely. The first thing Jewish mothers never said to their children was exactly that. We can't afford it. Think about what those 4 words actually do to a child's mind. They don't just describe a present limitation, they install a permanent identity. Can't is not a temporary condition. Can't is a wall. Can't says, this is how things are and this is how they will remain. My grandmother understood this before anyone gave it a name. So when a child pointed at something in a shop window, she would say, "That's not where our money is going right now. That's not where our money is going right now." Do you hear the difference? Not where it's going. Right now. The money exists. It has direction. It has intention. And the situation is temporary. In Kabbalah, there is a deep teaching about the power of speech called dibur. The spoken word is not merely sound. It is creative force. God spoke the world into existence. And a mother speaks the financial world of her child into existence every single day at that kitchen table. Jewish mothers took this seriously. They would not let the word can't near their children's relationship with money. Not because they were pretending, but because they understood that the word programs the child, and the child becomes the adult, and the adult lives inside whatever was programmed. The second thing Jewish mothers never did was discuss financial fear in front of their children. Picture this. Dinner is on the table, the children are eating, and there is a bill or a worry or a conversation that needs to happen about money. In many households, that conversation happens right there, at the table, in front of the children. The voices tighten, the energy shifts. The children stop eating, but they keep listening. They absorb everything. Jewish mothers had a different rule in the home. Adult financial worry belonged to adults. It was handled after the children were in bed, behind closed doors, in quiet voices if it had to be spoken at all. This was not denial. This was the protection of something precious called bitachon. Bitachon means trust, a deep, settled, unshakable trust that provision exists and that the home is safe. When a child grows up watching their parents fear money, that child builds their entire financial life on the architecture of that fear. They earn in fear, they spend in fear, they save in fear. They never quite feel like there is enough, because their nervous system learned very early that there was never enough. Jewish mothers chose to protect that inner foundation. They let the children see them managing, planning, choosing with calm. The worry they kept for themselves, the peace they gave to the children. The third thing Jewish mothers never allowed was the sight of money being treated with contempt. This one surprises people, but think about what most of us grew up watching. Bills crumpled and shoved into pockets, coins thrown onto the counter, a wallet dropped on the floor and left there. Money talked about like a burden, like a problem, like something dirty. Jewish grandmothers taught that how your hands handle money is a message. It is a message to your children, and it is a message to the money itself. There is a concept in Jewish wisdom called kavod. Kavod means honor. It applies to people, to sacred objects, and to the resources that God places in your care. When you handle money with kavod, you smooth the bills. You keep the wallet in a respected place. You pick up the coin from the floor without resentment. You treat what you have as if it matters, because the hands that honor money invite more of it, and the hands that toss money aside send a very different message. My own mother kept her wallet in the same place every single night. Same drawer, same position. She never left money on the floor. She never crumpled bills. I thought it was a small habit when I was young. I know now it was a daily declaration. The fourth thing Jewish mothers never did was let the first money lesson be about lack. The very first sentence most children hear about money in most homes is some version of the same warning. Money doesn't grow on trees. Do you think money falls from the sky? We are not made of money. Every single one of those sentences has lack as its foundation. The very first brick laid in the child's financial mind is a brick that says there is not enough and you must be afraid. Jewish mothers built the foundation differently. The first lesson was always abundance. The Shabbat table was always full, even when the week had been hard. There was always bread, there was always wine, there was always something prepared with care. That table said something to the children sitting around it. It said, Hashem provides. It said the home is a place of enough. It said we are people who have what we need. The lesson about limits, about choices, about priorities, that lesson came later. It came after the foundation of provision had been laid deep enough to hold weight. Because a child who learns scarcity first will spend their whole life defending against it. But a child who learns provision first will spend their whole life expecting it. And what you expect, you build toward. What you defend against, you keep creating. The fifth thing Jewish mothers never did was speak about money as something outside their control. This is the quiet one, the one that does the most damage over a lifetime. So many households talk about money as if it is a weather system, something that happens to you, something that comes and goes without reason. You get lucky or you don't. Things work out or they don't. Jewish mothers spoke about money as something the family directed, not because they had more of it, but because of the specific phrases they used. In this house, money works for us. We choose how we spend because we choose what matters. We always have enough for what is important. These were not affirmations said in the mirror. These were household laws spoken at the dinner table, quietly and consistently, year after year. And the children absorbed them. And those children became adults who did not wait for money to visit them. They expected to manage it. They expected to direct it. They expected to have agency over it. Because that is what they heard at the table. That is the law of dibur, applied to a household economy. The spoken word inside the home is not decoration. It is instruction. It is architecture. It is the frame inside which every financial decision will eventually be made. So here is what I want you to do tonight. Sit somewhere quiet. Think of one sentence you heard at your own table as a child about money. Just one. The one that comes up first. Write it down. Then ask yourself, is this sentence still running in my house? Is this still the financial language of my kitchen? And if it is, I want you to write the Jewish mother version underneath it. Not the old sentence, the new sentence, the one that keeps the door open, the one that teaches provision before lack, the one that handles money with kavod. If you have children in your home right now, this is urgent. Not for you, for them. Choose one phrase this week, just one. Retire it, replace it. Not because the old phrase was said with bad intention, but because now you know what it was building, and you know how to build something different. Write in the comments, the words in my home create wealth. Say it out loud right now if you can, because speech is not decoration. Speech is instruction. And the words that leave your mouth in your home today are already shaping the financial life of everyone listening. If this has reached something in you, please share it with a mother, with a grandmother, with someone who is raising children right now and who deserves to know this. Subscribe so you don't miss what is coming next, because I am going to show you what Jewish mothers keep on the dinner table every single Friday night, and why the families who removed it watched their provision quietly begin to shrink. That one is not to be missed. And may your home be filled with words that open doors, hands that honor what they hold, and a table where your children learn, from the very beginning, that in this house there is always enough.